Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a new edition of the Daily Debate. In tonight's show, we're going to be focusing on one aspect of the economic development, which is a very integral part as well, the transportation system. Now, Egypt is looking to be a logistic and transportation hub by the end of 2024. We're going to be focusing on the transportation system, the developments taking place over the past few years, and the developments we're waiting to witness in the next few years as well. But before we start doing that, let's check out some of the stories making the news today. And we'll start off with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, who met with the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, and the Israeli Prime Minister, Naftali Bennett, in the Red Sea resort of Sharm el-Sheikh on Tuesday. Now, the presidential spokesman, Bassam Radi, said the trilateral meeting probed the fallout of the latest world crises on global energy supplies, market stability and food security. The meeting also tackled an exchange of viewpoints over the latest developments in regional and international issues. As he received the United Arab Emirates Abu Dhabi Crown Prince Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, President al-Sisi said Egypt values the historical ties with the UAE. The two sides held expanded talks in attendance of their delegations, which tackled a number of regional and international issues of mutual concern. During the talks, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, who is also Deputy Supreme Commander of the UAE Armed Forces, said Egypt plays a pivotal role in the security and stability of the region and exerts efforts to support the joint Arab action at all levels. Also, at the weekly cabinet meeting, Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli discussed a number of files as well as the latest developments with regards to the coronavirus and vaccine availability. The meeting discussed draft laws and ministerial decisions in the economic and social spheres, as well as encouraging investments, continuing work in mega projects, the Decent Life Initiative, and providing food commodities also topped the agenda of the meeting. Under the directives of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi aimed at alleviating the economic fallout of the global crises, the cabinet approved an increase of the minimum periodic allowances for state workers and an early payment of these allowances in April instead of July. According to the cabinet, the cost of the early payment and the increase in the periodic and private allowances, as well as the additional incentives, is estimated at £8 billion. And Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry takes part in the 48th round of the Organization of Islamic Conference, OIC, Foreign Ministers meeting in the Pakistani capital, Islamabad. The two-day event is held under the title Building Partnerships for Unity, Justice and Development. It discusses a number of issues, atop of which the developments in Yemen, Libya, Sudan, Syria and Somalia. The situation in Afghanistan and African issues also topped the agenda of the talks. On the sidelines of the meeting, Shoukry held talks with counterparts from several member states. At a meeting with Tunisia's Foreign Minister, Osman El Grandi, the top diplomat discussed bilateral cooperation as well as international and regional issues of mutual concern. At another meeting with Kyrgyzstan's Foreign Minister, Kazakbayev, the pair discussed bilateral ties and regional and international issues of mutual concern. Shoukry held talks with the Kazakh Foreign Minister over boosting bilateral ties and international and regional developments. These were some of the stories making the news today, but now turning our attention to tonight's topic. Egypt is looking forward to be considered as a logistic and transportation hub by the end of 2024. Let's check out this report and we'll be right back.
Egypt will be transformed by 2024 into one of the major global hubs for transport and logistics through a massive 10-year plan to modernize its transport infrastructure, which covers 6 main areas, including roads and bridges, at a cost of 474 billion Egyptian pounds, railways at a cost of 225 billion Egyptian pounds, tunnels and electric traction, 837 billion Egyptian pounds, maritime transport, 115 billion Egyptian pounds, dry ports and logistics at 15 billion Egyptian pounds, and river transportation at 3 billion Egyptian pounds. The 10-year plan, which started in 2014 and will continue till 2024, was created to improve the transportation and communication spheres. Minister of Transport Kamal al-Wazir said the transportation system established in the country will contribute significantly to achieving sustainable development and changing the face of life throughout Egypt, explaining that the 10-year plan implemented from 2014 to 2024 was drawn up to modernize transport and communication sectors at an expected cost of 1.669 trillion pounds, or about 106.3 billion US dollars. Over the past 7 years, projects worth 1.295 trillion Egyptian pounds have already been implemented, noting that a number of large projects, including the light rail train, will be finalized by the end of this year, and other projects such as the monorail and the high-speed electric train, as well as port projects, will be completed by the end of 2024. The minister said around 30,000 kilometers of new and developed roads will also be completed by the end of next year. He noted the completion of the transport and road system in 2024, Egypt would be turned into a regional and international hub for transport and logistics, adding that there are also plans to link Egypt with other North African countries, including building a road that will run through Egypt, Libya, Chad, and Niger. Additionally, there will be a Cairo to Cape Town access, which connects North Africa with South Africa, with a river transport route reaching Lake Victoria to be established. The minister extended an open invitation to all Egyptian and foreign investors to manage and operate railways across the country, as well as participate in all the ministry's projects covering various fields. He said projects worth 1.295 trillion Egyptian pounds had already been implemented over the last 7 years. Far-reaching changes taking place in the transportation sector in Egypt also include new highways connecting cities and new bridges, new train carriages for the national railways, new public transport systems such as the metro, monorail, and electric train.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and joining us here tonight in the studio to shed more light on the transportation system, we're joined by Engineer Haitham Kafrawy, the Teaching Assistant of Structuring Analysis. Engineer Kafrawy, thank you very much for joining us.
Always a pleasure.
Now, if we're talking about trying to be a logistic and transportation hub by the end of 2024,
yes.
Now that's in 2 years' time.
Yes, this is true.
We've been working on that since 2014, so we're aiming to achieve that within the span of 10 years.
Less.
Now, or less even. Now, what are the main aspects? I mean, everybody understands that there's been a lot of development work on the infrastructure, the roads, the tunnels, the bridges, the monorail, the high-speed electrical train, everything. But what are the main aspects to turn into this major transportation and logistic hub in less than 2 years' time?
The thing is that we studied our problem well. we defined our root cause. The last time we were together, we were talking about the mindset of the people and the mindset of the government, and how to change this mindset to be a growth mindset, to develop themselves, to develop the leaders, and then start developing the people themselves, because we have a lot of human resources. The thing is that we found the key. The key was we have to reallocate all our resources to maximize our profits. So we have the root cause, which is the population growth and the dynamic economical phases that we passed through the last 10 years. So we have to develop the infrastructure that we have. So why not develop the infrastructure on the domestic basis and then reallocate it on the international basis? So this is what happened. The thing is, His Excellency President Sisi, he put the major lines that we should make the maximum use of the Egyptian location in the world, the best location. You are in the middle of the world. You should be the highly connected place with all the continents. So we have to make it on the road scale, on the electrical or the LRT, the metro scale, the train scale, the transportation scale. So this was the first thing that I would like to speak on. So on the year 2014, we started developing 4,500 kilometers, reaching to 7,000 kilometers in Egypt in just 1 year. And at the beginning of 2020, the Ministry of Transportation, they allocated $9.8 billion for the transportation after we started the new Suez Canal. These are all connected. And put in mind, we have 3 new tunnels: Port Said Tunnel, we have the Suez Tunnel, and we have the new Ahmed Hamdi Tunnel. And if you see it on the wide scale, you will find that it's all planned. It's all a part of a plan. So we finished the new Suez Canal, and we finished 3 other tunnels, and we finished the new Suez Canal Road, and we finished the new Ring Road, and we finished the Alexandria Road, and all the roads connected to each other with ports. And if you didn't find a port, you will find a new port is going to be constructed at that area. So they are all connected. We changed, again, we changed the mindset from the problem that we are going to face, or the management of the problem, to a strategic way of thinking, a strategic mindset. We have a vision, we have a mission, we have an aim, we have a scale of time, and we have the human resources, we have the know-how. So why not? We're going to succeed.
Yes. Well, before we start talking about the actual means of transportation, you've illustrated all the work that's being done and the roads and the axes. Now, what have been the most difficult or the biggest challenges in actually implementing these things? Was it the financing aspect of these projects, digging the tunnels, expanding the ports, the Suez Canal? Is it trying to recreate or create from scratch roads in mountainous areas? Is it trying to already develop already existing roads, making them wider, having a better infrastructure for these already existing roads? What have been the main challenges and obstacles?
You will say that I am an Egyptian arrogant. We have nothing, I mean nothing, faced us was a problem. In construction, the only problem was ourselves. We were the greatest challenge, us, the Egyptians, that we should know how to know this. If you know it, it's not difficult anymore. So this is what we said. okay? We will get the most important company in the world to construct this project, this road, okay? The first road made at the administrative capital. They made it once, and we made it all. We made it better, and we made it faster. They are going to make the iconic tower by the Egyptian hands. We don't have any challenge, any main challenge. The challenge is coming is, are we going to make a good use of what we are doing in the infrastructure? Yes. Do we have a plan? Yes. The information in Egypt now about this is that we have the new logistic areas. So you have ports, you have roads, you have infrastructures, you have logistic areas, and you have the Suez Canal. Okay, you have warehouses, you can trade, you can store, you can use it as a storage area, you can use it as warehouses, you can use it, you can reallocate the money and the resources in the whole world. You are going to be the new era of economics. I mean it. You are going to be the new era of business. All the businessmen in the world are going to put the money because they trust in the Egyptian hands, not only in the Egyptian government. I know that they have they are trustworthy. They proved it. But the thing is, they proved it by the Egyptian people. They proved it by the Egyptian minds, the Egyptian engineers. We now have no challenges in construction. You're speaking to the second most important, highly efficient workers, laborers, engineers in the world. I mean this. This is science. So when you speak about challenges, I will always say that we are the pharaohs. That's it.
Well, Engineer Kafrawy, if we've already seen all the work that's been done over the past few years, are we done with the construction phase? I mean, we're still witnessing some construction projects working on the transportation, the roads and the axes and the tunnels and everything. But have we gone past the biggest chunk of the construction work, or do we still have more to do? I mean, we're not just talking, and we're talking also about airports being established and new cities all over the government, not just the big cities, Egypt, Cairo, Alexandria, the new Alamein city.
This is one of the best questions you have ever asked, I've ever been asked. The thing is, we will never stop. We're searching for sustainable development. Sustainable development is continuity in growth. So the population is going to grow. So you have to pass the population with your growth, and you have to pass the population with your projects. You have to keep going. You should not stop. What we have done give us benefits in economics, give us benefits in environment. Environment, yep. How? We are not going to consume too much fuel anymore. We are constructing our roads to accept the electrical cars. We are going to use the electrical lights, the solar panels, all the roads. We are searching to decrease the stressors all over the place. We are going to decrease the COx, the SOx, everything about. We are searching for the environmental, sustainable development, environment. This is our aim. We're going to stop. We should not stop. Anybody is going to sit in the place, and this is the most important thing that the government made, that the leaders made, that they are going to transfer the knowledge to other leaders, and they will see them. Okay, you want to try, you can try. You want to make the mistake, you have to make it now. Because I'm here, I'm going to reform you again on the right track. So, of course.
Well, so talking about the sustainability of it aspect as well. Now, over the past couple of years, traffic has been way better than before,
Yeah.
but still over these few days right before Ramadan, we're starting to feel the brunt of the traffic jams all over the country. So one of the main things was the public transportation. Now, let's take it one transport mean at a time, talking about the monorail.
Okay.
Now, the direction, how much it covers, the distance it covers, the area it covers. Now, how many monorails should we aspire to have? The electrical trains as well, the high-speed trains. When are we going to see a total transformation, a total substitution, a real dependency by the Egyptian citizens on these public transportation? Let's focus now on the monorail and the high-speed electrical train.
Okay, I will start with one in a couple of years, not more than this, because we finished all the substructures, and with substructures I mean the columns, the civil aims, and the beams, things like that, and we are waiting for the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing process, and it will take maybe a couple of years. And the other part of the question, which is most important, the monorail and the electric metro, or whatever the transportation means, they are not designed to serve only the people. They are designed to help them find more, to explore more. How is this? So the monorail is going to start from Al Ain Sokhna, and it's going to end at the other side, Saloon. So you have all this area at the North Egypt, and the new line of the train transportation, which is from Cairo to Aswan, is totally refurbished. So you can use the other transportation. You have, when you go from Cairo to 6th of October, they are searching for the most dead zone, the place that we are going to revive again. So the land is going to cost more, the infrastructure is going to cost more, the people will benefit, the transportation is going to be easier, and the population problem and the road crowd problem that you stated won't be the same, because you have all the means that would make you go to 6th of October without using your car. It will decrease the consumption of fuel. It will increase the ability of people to reach all the zones with the least effort. And this is much important. And the most important thing is it's going to maximize the time of the people working hours. So the monorail is going to start maybe in a couple of years. It is designed to increase, to maximize the resources, starting with the human resources, working hours, and it is designed to reach the optimistic and the optimism aim, which is we need to decrease the consumption of the people in Egypt. So it's not only about, is it going to cover 600 kilometers? Yes, it's going to cover more than 600 kilometers. But is it beneficial? Yes, because it is in places, new desert that we would like to conquer, and we would like to reallocate the people again in this area and take them out of the crowded places, take them out of Cairo, take them out of Alexandria, and we are going to make new cities, and the same as the parallelism.
Yes.
So when they designed the monorail, when they designed the metro, and when they refurbished the trains, they were aiming the the idea of the kicks. How can we make people go out of the comfort zone, Cairo, Alexandria, Aswan, things like that, and at the same time, they won't feel homesickness. They will feel that it is easier. The quality of life is increasing. And this idea is applied in a lot of projects like Haya Karima, like the ports, the new residential projects, all the administrative capital projects. We are changing the centralism places, all the center areas to a new capital to reduce the amount of people in one zone.
Yes, and the same applies to the trains and cutting the time consumed from Cairo to Aswan, for instance.
Of course, so this will make people more comfortable and increase their quality of lives, and this is the aim. The aim is not to say that we made the longest monorail or the biggest train station or the... It's okay to do things like that. It's very important to do things like that. But is it beneficial? Yes, it is beneficial.
And also, because the ring road in Greater Cairo, everybody is on the ring road all the time. Now, there's also going to be buses, the BRT
Yes.
buses, which is bus rapid transport. Now, how will these buses be different than the traditional sort of public transport buses that Egyptians are used to?
It is more like a train on the ring road, but a separate cart of the train is working together. The idea came from the Japanese train. How does this go? The Japanese had found that every single person is late because of the train in Japan. So how many minutes are they late? 3 or 4 minutes. So they started to separate the carts of the train and make it separate. So you have a train or a cart of a train that comes every 20 seconds. So every person, every working man and woman in the time, and they increased the multiplication of the population in 3 minutes of working hours. See how many hours is this? How many benefits are going back to Japan? The same idea is made here in Egypt. And this was the inspiration of the government. They said it. So we are going to make a bus, a cart, with a separate road that is not congested with cars, totally separate. And we are going to separate every bus with a certain amount of people to make them go to their work at the time and get them back to their homes at the time. What is the benefits of this? Increasing the working hours, increasing the mental health of the people, increasing the quality of the roads, decreasing the usage and the depreciation of the equipments. So if you are working, for example, at the downtown here, and you're living, for example, at Maadi, I will take the bus. Should I take my car? I have a very good transportation method, so I'm going to take the car. It's more beneficial for me, it's more cheap, and at the same time efficient, and it will preserve my working hours. It will make me more beneficial for my work and will take me to the target. That's it.
Yes. Well, these are all aspects of the sustainable development aspect for the transportation system.
Yep.
Now also the cars, the basic cars.
Yes,
we've been talking about turning to gas. Now talking about using electrical cars.
Yep.
Now, for this process to happen, there are so many questions. I mean, it poses a question of, is it going to be expensive? Is it going to be easy to maintain? Will we have the know-how to maintain any sort of problems or issues that would arise with these new vehicles, the electrical vehicles, for instance? There are over 3,000 electrical stations that are being constructed.
All the new gas stations.
Yes. So what will happen to the already existing vehicles that people own that runs on gasoline?
They will stay, but the thing is, we are going to a new era. We are developing. So the electrical cars are the innovation of the era. They are preserving energy, they are preserving the environment, and they are reducing the stressors all over the place. So is it going to succeed here in Egypt? Of course. Because the government is paying a lot of money just to invest in the idea of how to make it, not how to buy it. And this is the secret. This is the key of success. So I'm not going to buy a car. I'm going to invent a new idea. It's going to be cheap because it will maybe one day it will be made by Egyptians. So it's going to be cheap. I hope so. But the thing that I'm sure of, it is going to be more cheaper than all the gas cars. If you compare it with how much gas are you going to use when you get a gas car, the trouble that the gas cars are getting to you. Every time you go to the mechanic, every time, things will change. We are changing to be a great country. We are changing our mindsets to be a great country, great nation. We can do this. So we are going to take it from the lowest scale, from the small, tiny scale, to the huge scale. And the electric cars are the huge scale.
Well, these electric cars, will it operate, I mean, developing these cars, will it operate the same way as you've mentioned when it came to establishing and constructing the roads, as in you get the best company in actually manufacturing it, just do the first batch, for instance, and then Egyptians can learn and have the know-how to develop their own? Is it talking about building the car, but maybe importing the batteries for it, because that seems to be the most important sort of component of electrical cars? How will this work? How will we have incentives by the government for the Egyptian people to ditch their old car and get a new electric one?
Did you use the new Ain al-Sokhna road? Did you see the solar panels all over the place?
Yes.
Did you see the new gas stations? Did you see the electrical panels and the electrical resource? How many electric cars did you see there? None. Right?
Yep.
The constraint of the design of all new roads are designed upon the electric cars, just to make it ready when the electric cars are in place. There is no way, no chance for failure. People will find the gas station and will find the electric station. They will find the gas resource and they will find an electrical resource. They can use this and they can use this. I can tell you something. Do you know that all the parking areas at the new universities are now with electrical sockets? Just to encourage all the people working at the universities and all the teachers and same as students use electric cars. Do you know that the government is going to give the electric cars to the students and teachers and all the people working in governmental areas and at universities? They are going to give it with a cheap price, just to make them use it. we are using the infrastructure, we are designing the infrastructure upon the international, the new innovations of the whole world. We're not solving this problem. We're not managing our problems. We're not managing our adversities.
Yes.
We are managing our strategies. We are looking forward. We are looking for an aim. We are applying a vision, and we are using our methods, all our methods.
Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, having this sort of work being done over the past few years and still for the next few years to come, it happened with a strong political will, and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has actually talked about swiftly moving forward in the refurbishing and the development of the transportation system. Let's check out this report and we'll be right back.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi directed the government to swiftly finalize the new mass transport system across the country, given its importance to facilitate the movement of citizens in a prompt and safe way. The president also gave instructions for qualifying technical cadres that would run the new transportation system and ordered paying attention to the operation systems and technical staff that will operate these systems. The head of state's directives came during his meeting with the Prime Minister, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, and the Minister of Transportation, Kamil al-Wazir, who reviewed the progress made in the nationwide mass transport projects powered by clean energy to preserve the environment and cut down pollution. New mass transportation networks include high-speed trains, light rail transit trains, monorail trains, and BRT buses that will operate on the Ring Road, in addition to the establishment of new metro lines. The transportation system also contributes to improving life, economic and environmental conditions, and also comes in line with the huge development process Egypt is currently witnessing. These projects nationwide will run on clean energy to help reduce pollution, rationalize energy consumption, reduce accidents, and improve public health. Furthermore, the new systems will connect urban communities and residential neighborhoods in Greater Cairo, as well as at the governorate level, acting as the modern means of transportation, as represented in the high-speed electric trains, the monorail, light rail transit, and the bus rapid transit, which will all operate on the Ring Road, in addition to the expansion and addition of new metro lines.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, continuing our discussion with Engineer Kafrawy. Now, sir, we've been talking about the developments taking place here in Egypt. Now, before we turn to the international sort of network, now, all the developments that we've been talking about, people can actually see all over the main big cities, Alamein City, Cairo, Alexandria, the new administrative capital. Now,
in all scales.
And is it also implemented all over the different governorates across the country?
Yep. We are doing great. So, we were expecting that Alamein City was going to finish at the 2030s. Now it is finished. We are 2022. We are ahead of schedule. We are changing this place from the place which is the North Coast that we're going to go 3 months a year and we're going to use it 3 months a year to a whole new city with a whole areas, with universities, with residential areas, and with factories, so people can work and use it as home. The thing is, if you remember, I said that we use kicks. So the North Coast is a kick for Alexandria to solve the problem of the population, a problem of the crowded roads. So they reallocated all the roads And they reallocated all the residential areas. So I guess we're doing great at this place. But talking about the international roads, or talking about the international projects, this is very important. Do you know that Egypt is going to make a road? Cairo-Cape Town?
Yes.
Cairo-Cape Town. This is great.
From the top of the African continent to South Africa.
If you want to know the idea, you have to start when the President Sisi was the head of the African Union.
Yes.
It comes from here. And when Egypt said we're going to invest in Africa, we are going to share our knowledge, we are going to share our trial. We are developing and we're not going to succeed alone. And this is the secret that I said before, the teamwork. So you succeed as a team domestically, so we are going to increase our team to make it in the continent. And not only this, we're going to increase our team to make it in Middle Eastern team and African team, the media.
Yes. Well, let's talk about the Cairo-Cape Town road. Now, it's basically from the north of Africa to the south of Africa. Yep. It goes through many countries. Now, we understand the political will and the Egyptian sort of goal to really work on the transportation system, but do the other countries along that axis, the Cairo-Cape Town axis, do they share the same enthusiasm? Do they share the same know-how and the financing of it as well?
They have to. They should, because we are making it for them. We are making it because we would like to, we are the people who are investing at this road for the African nation, because we are Africans. They should, because if you see the design of the road, they are not aiming the coastal countries. They are aiming the locked countries to make them use more, trade more. So you have a road from a coastal country. They should, because it will increase the relations between the continent. It will increase the trade. It will increase the economic benefits in the whole continent. It will make us use an African Union, economical African Union. This road, I'm not kidding. The road can make us do an economical union, African economical union. This is great. You can trade from Cairo to Cape Town in days. You can use it as if you're getting something from Aswan to Cairo. It's not that simple, but it is the same idea. So are they going to share the same enthusiasm? I don't have the answer. Definitely yes or definitely no. But by logic, they are.
Do you think that with all the developments, the economic and political developments taking place around the world, would it hinder the process and the development of establishing this road? Would everybody focus on their own domestic and internal economies and their own economic trade, because everyone's suffering from the political developments? Or on the contrary, they would actually feel that they actually really are in dire need of such a project to not just depend on a lot of the West and the international community, but to focus more on the economic trade taking place within the African continent?
Okay, I will answer the question with a story at the very beginning. When you have an economical adversity, the main and the only solution is to increase the construction projects, because it invades 60% of the GDP. So you can use it to increase the cash flow and control it at the same time. So a project like this, for a country, in Africa, after COVID, after what's happening in the whole world, it's a savior.
Yes.
You are investing in the road. Financially, you can help. If not, they should, because they will take the benefits. You are the least country, to be 100% honest, going to get benefits from this road, because we have the whole Red Sea, because we have the whole Suez Canal, but at the same time, we're going to get benefits for our brothers. We're going to get benefits with our new team. We're going to get benefits for countries that really needs us, needs our knowledge, and we're not going to keep it from them.
Now, is this Cairo-Cape Town axis, is it similar to the other road that's being established and working on for the connecting Egypt, Libya, Chad, and Niger?
Yep.
Now, are they similar? Are they different? What is the sort of difference between them? Maybe because it connects less countries, is it more feasible to actually establish such a project and finalize it before the Cairo-Cape Town?
You would like to speak about the difference engineering-wise or financial-wise? Because
let's start with the engineering-wise.
engineering-wise, it's going to be RC roads, totally new technology with all solar panels, and it will use the new infrastructure technologies at the same time. So let me facilitate this easily. When you construct a road, you can construct infrastructures beneath the road. So you're going to transfer all the infrastructure through all the roads. So you're going to use it and make benefits of the construction for both, for the infrastructure and same as for the roads. And at the same time, you're going to use these roads with the technologies of the RC roads, not the flexible pavements. So it's going to be more durable. The bearing of the roads is going to be less. You can use it to use the most heavy trucks can go on it easily. Financially, it is much cheaper, but this is not the challenge. The challenge is to make the country that has no coast, it is locked with all countries, have an access to use, to trade easily, so the product is going to be much cheaper on the producer and the consumer. So the demand and the supply curve is going to decrease. You will have a surplus more than having a shortage. So when you do this, only an axis can do all of this. Yes, of course, only an axis can do all of this, because this is the savior of the vein of the continent. This is the new vein of the continent, the main vein of the continent. You can use it from the highest coast of Egypt to the lowest coast of Africa and Cape Town.
Well, in Egypt, we're used to having some sort of a time frame or a schedule to achieve things, and then the president just orders to cut the time in half, if not even more.
You know why? Because every time people ask me this question, why do the president always ask to make the things in half its time? Is it much costly? The thing is, do you know that I was surprised when one of my teachers told me this, by the way. So this is very important to say. Do you know that when you do a project, less than its time, you have a grade in the world that give you an economical indication? So, for example, there is the population, the economical growth, and these aspects, and they are multiplied by a factor. This factor is from 1 to 5. So when you finish the project ahead of schedule, you can take 5. So the businessman who is a foreigner, when he sees this number is increasing fast, so he can see that this country is going to be developed. This is a developing country. I will put my money in it.
Yes.
It's safe. So this is why always the president asks to make the project in half its time.
And will the same be applied to the Cairo-Cape Town road and the other ones? But because there are way too many variables,
I expect that the
external ones.
The project management office of this project is going to be Egyptian engineers. So because we now know how to construct projects in quarter each time, we should make a time scale, a strict time line and a schedule with the plannings and on the old planning levels, and take it all maybe in 5 years, things like that. I'm not sure, but I at that frame, maybe 5 to 7 years. Maybe less. If we took the project management office, all Egyptian engineers, I guess it would take less.
Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, on that hopeful note, as Engineer Kafrawy has pointed out, there's been a lot of work done here in Egypt over the past few years, and maybe in 2 years' time everything could be done, but it is an ongoing process to continue and a sustainable development and a sustainable growth, not just domestically and internally here in Egypt, but also within the international axes that Egypt is involved in as well within the African continent. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this edition of the Daily Debate. But before we go, I'd like to thank my very distinguished guest, Engineer Haitham Kafrawy, the Teaching Assistant of Structural Analysis. Engineer Kafrawy, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned for more coming up on Nile International. I'm Hani Saif. Thank you for joining us.